Who am I? We don't know her. She doesn't have a name anymore. She's fully in the zone. She's in her safe space. She's vibing to the music. She doesn't want to be bothered. Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I am your host, Emma Capotis. What is up, fam? Welcome back to episode 2 of season 6. This is bananas, you guys. It's feeling good to be back, and I'm excited to have you all here. Today's episode is one that's been a long time coming. Actually, one of you guys requested this, and I wanted to do this justice, so it took me a while to kind of write this whole script and get your submissions in, but I'm super excited to talk about just in general festival anxiety, nerves, like those jitters you get, and kind of like some more serious topics as well. So we're going to be diving into all of that today. But first, if you guys are new here, you can connect with us at Rave Culture Cast on all of the social media platforms. We've got our Facebook group, Discord, all of that linked down below, along with any links or resources that are mentioned in this episode. So with that being said, I want to share a quick word from one of our sponsors as well, Lunchbox. Lunchbox makes my favorite festival and beauty accessories. So hair products, face gems, glitter, body gems, tattoos, stickers, all that stuff I'm absolutely obsessed with. They've had so many deals throughout the holiday season. So if you guys want to stock up and save, definitely check them out. Lunchbox.com, discount code MK. That will get you 10% off your orders. I love everything they have. They are a small business in this company. Their owner and their team is absolutely fantastic. So if you guys want to support their small business, definitely do it. They are coming out with new collections all the time, and they've got some of the cutest products. So I just wanted to shout them out for the holidays again. Lunchbox, discount code MK. All right, with all that being said, let's dive into today's episode because I have a lot we want to cover, and I am going to share a quick breakdown of this episode, and then we'll dive into your submissions because I did ask you guys to write in for this topic, which was awesome. But again, we are talking about pre-show jitters, general festival anxiety, things like that people are dealing with. One thing I wanted to mention is this one time at a festival, I actually seen it multiple times, but there was a totem that said "fuck anxiety" on it, and I'll never forget it. And I saw it at the right moment, at the right time, and it genuinely helped me feel better in that moment. So thank you to whoever made that "fuck anxiety" totem. But things like that can actually have a really big impact on people in the crowd that you don't realize. Or a piece of candy that you give someone, that's a great way to spread encouragement. But it's just something that stayed with me, and I'll never forget seeing that in the crowd. And one of you guys wrote in and asked to talk about how to deal with anxiety around shows or crowds, and I thought this would be a really interesting topic to dive into. So one thing for me personally is in my normal everyday today life, I definitely deal with anxiety. I have a lot of intrusive thoughts, a little bit of OCD, and when it comes to shows and stuff, I personally don't deal with that as much. It's more day-to-day stress and things like that. But when I'm at shows and festivals, I feel way more free and outgoing. And for all of us, this can impact our lives differently. Some of you guys might be more fine in your day-to-day, but then at shows, you get heightened feelings. Large crowds may be something that you're uncomfortable with. You just being around strangers. If you're a solo raver, that could be something that's out of your comfort zone. So many outside factors could affect kind of how you're feeling at events, and all of our comfort levels are different. So I just wanted to bring that up just so you guys know kind of where I'm coming from. And I've been in situations where I've 100% felt more uncomfortable, or been stuck in a crowd and I'm holy shit, this is not where I want to be right now. I feel very unsafe, and you can kind of have that anxiety build up in you. So we're kind of coming at it from all different angles today, but here's a quick breakdown of what we're going to talk about in today's episode. So I want to talk a little bit about pre-show nerves. I have a word for that we'll talk about. I want to talk about anxiousness when you're in a come up. So if you're dabbling in substances or something, I did want to touch on that subject because I feel there can be direct, obviously, feelings of anxiety that are related to those substances that you're taking. We're going to talk about places you can go to calm down at an event. We're going to talk about how to stay present and to get out of your head and to ground yourself. And then we'll talk a little bit about how to help other people around you who are dealing with nerves or anxiety. And then we're going to wrap up with general social anxiety tips from our listeners, because you guys wrote in some really amazing things. But first, the Amnesty Bin. What is the Amnesty Bin? This is our brand new segment on Rave Culture Cast, where anonymous submissions are sent in from our listeners, and they are their rave confessions that I will take with me to the grave. So you guys can submit your anonymous rave confessions that will be dropped in the Amnesty Bin to raveculturecast@gmail.com if you would like me to read it on an upcoming episode. This one's short and sweet. I had a very intense dream about Timmy Trumpet last night. No other context, nothing. Just got that in my inbox. I had a very intense dream about Timmy Trumpet last night. Go off. Not quite sure what that was for you, but hopefully it was nice. We won't reveal who that sent that in, but thanks for sending that in and starting off our episode with that. Okay, with that being said, let's dive into our first topic here. Okay, so first topic, pre-show nerves. So if some of you have been around for a very long time, then you will have heard this story and this term before, but if you're new, here's a quick refresher. So what was it? I think it was EDC 2019. If you're in my Rave fam, you can confirm with me. We were going to EDC Las Vegas and we were talking about this feeling where we were like, you have these like butterflies in your stomach. It's like, you're not really like scared, but it kind of feels like nerves, but it really is excitement. It's like all these feelings bundled together, and it's like these pre-show jitters that you're kind of feeling. And my friend Brady coined the term potential energy. So we were like, it's not the energy of the festival quite yet. It's the potential energy that's building before the event. So anytime we felt that, we would look at each other and we would be like, guys, potential energy is building. We were like, yes, okay, we're all on the same wavelength here. Like we all have those butterflies. And then I think that year was the year that it was kinetic energy, I'm pretty sure. But one of the years, like they ended up going with that theme and we were like, oh my God, mind blown. Like we've wrapped up the potential energy in the theme. But this was a topic, I don't remember where I learned this, so I'm sorry I can't credit the person who came up with this, but it has been such a fucking mindset game changer. If you can reframe your mindset, and it takes some practice, redirect in your brain nervousness to excitement. Literally just making that switch in your mind. Anytime you feel nerves about anything in your life, does not have to be festival related, when you start to get those feelings, tell your brain, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. Literally just changing that in my mind has made me feel so much better with situations. Like when I hosted the EDC Las Vegas live stream on Insomniac Radio, I could have been like shitting bricks and so nervous. And the whole time I was like, Emma, you're not nervous, you're excited. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. You're just so excited to be doing this. And just having that mind frame like changed how I felt. And I was like, it's not tied to a negative word. It's tied to a positive word. So in your brain, you're thinking more like excitement, positivity, rather than like negative, nervous, scared. I told Jeannie this before her set at EDC Orlando, because she was like saying she was really, really nervous, and I was with her, and I told her this exact thing, and she was like, holy shit, okay, yeah, I am excited. I'm not nervous. And I was like, yes. It's just a great way to reframe it. So before you go into a festival, you're not nervous, you're excited. Other things you can do to help with pre-show nerves, I feel like making candy is just a classic thing that can just like help with stress. Like it's a great thing to do. That's just, you can start a tradition, but kind of just like wind down, chill. If you want to have a glass of wine, just relax, make some candy, watch a movie. I used to literally always watch Under the Electric Sky, the EDC documentary, before every EDC I went to. It was tradition, and I would sit and I would make candy. That can be great. I find that doing your research and just being more prepared mentally can help with pre-show nerves. So that's why I'm here, like watching content creators' tips and advice videos, watching vlogs, anything that will help you prepare mentally for what you're walking into so you're not going into it blind can help. So like watching a vlog for me, I do this before every festival. I just like look up, I want to see the layout. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see what the campgrounds look like when they walk around a festival. Like I'll watch walkthrough videos. I just find that it calms my nerves and it makes me feel like I know what I'm, preparing for. And it doesn't ruin the excitement or anything for me. talking it out, post in groups, like reach out to people, like post something in like the festival's page or unofficial group. Getting like support and words of encouragement can be really good for nerves. Just talking to your Rave fam about it. I feel like it's good to just get it out and talk it out. And then, like I mentioned, doing your homework, just, making sure you have your packing list ready to go. You've looked at the festival map, where the medical tents are, where quiet areas are, like anything that's going to make you feel calmer because you know where you can go get help, which at any point you can get help. So just remember that. Those are all things that I would say you can do prior to a show. Then going to a show, so actually being at a show, there's a bunch of different places you can go to kind of like get, I wouldn't say quiet, but that you can go to get like a break or, kind of like relieve yourself from like the massive crowds and stuff like that. So, obviously the first things you can do, again, this is participating in substances or not. If you're feeling an anxiety attack, come on. If you're getting anxious in the size of a crowd, if like whatever is happening, maybe it's like a really popular set and it gets like way too, packed in for your comfort. Leave that crowd if you can, like safely get out of the crowd. Find some place that's going to be way less stimulating for you, which can be hard at events, but there are always these really cool art installations that are in like chill areas. Maybe they're out on the sides of the festival, or maybe like if you're in a forest kind of setting, it's in like a really beautiful, like serene setting. So find some place that maybe is like a little less stimulating. Maybe you're not in the middle of a crowd, maybe you're not on a ride, like whatever it is, but you can kind of like go someplace that's a little quieter, it's a little out of the chaos. You'll be able to sit down, maybe go grab a snack, get a water, like sit and chill for a little bit. So look for something less stimulating. At all of Insomniac's events, they typically have an Oasis lounge, which is usually marked by a little purple heart on the map. These are safe spaces you can go, again, for literally any reason. If you just need to relax, if you're having a bad trip, if you're not feeling well, if you need to take a nap, like anything you need to do, if you're like afraid to take a nap, out in the public on a grassy area and you just like want somebody to watch you and know you're not going to be like fucked with in any way or like have something stolen off of you. There are obviously like staff members working there. There's ground control working there who's there to help you. So look for an Oasis lounge if you can. At other festivals, they have like similar areas. So just make sure you look at the map and figure those out. Some places have like quieter lounge rooms. So recently I had noticed at Avant-Gardner in Brooklyn, when we were at the Brooklyn Mirage and they weren't using Avant-Gardner, they had turned it into a lounge and they had just like this really like beautiful like visuals on this really big screen, and they were playing like very, very chill, like low, I don't want to say low frequency music, but it was just like very vibey, and it was just like couches, and it was dark and it was quiet. So for whatever reason, if you just needed to like get out of the chaos of the show, you could go sit down there. So I thought that was really nice. So whether it's a rave or a show, like if you can step outside for a second and get some fresh air, that's a great thing to do. But just kind of like know the different areas you can go to. Like I said, grassy areas, like if your group, if you have a great group with you and they're willing to just like leave the crowd and go sit and chill and vibe out and have some good conversations, that would be great. Hammocks are a good option. A lot of festivals have hammock areas where you can literally go just chill and take a nap, which can be great for you and just like recover for a little bit. So definitely just like know your resources, look at the map and figure out where are going to be places you can go to calm down. Another thing I wanted to mention, like I said before, anxiousness during a come up. For those of you partaking in substances, you can run into an instance where, whether it's anxiety about your substances, or like if you took something and you're just not reacting to it well, or you're starting to come up and you're in the middle of a crowd and you're very fucking overwhelmed all of a sudden, or you're like, holy shit, can't be here, not the right place, not the right set, this is not the vibe. Leave the crowd if you get nervous or you're not feeling good. And one thing I've found with those situations is like if you're anticipating that, maybe figure out where the best place is going to be for you to come up. You know what I mean? Like, don't be in the middle of a fucking crowd and it's like super overwhelming and you're like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. And you're like panicking and trying to get out. Like maybe go someplace where it's like really chill and you're going to be able to have your space and air and stuff so you can like handle your shit. And then when you feel ready to go in the crowd, you can. So like think about your timing, think about your placement. That's all stuff. Again, like having a sober friend or a designated driver, obviously in these situations is very, very helpful. So if you need like a line leader to like lead you out of the crowd, support, lean on each other, and leave the crowd if it's, making you nervous. Knowing where the exits are so important, you guys. Even if you're just going to get like sick or something like that, like I've been in the crowd with friends who have like needed to vom in the middle and like they're trying to figure out where the fuck they're going to go to like get out of there. So like knowing where the bathrooms are and knowing where the exits are very, very important. And then like I mentioned, I think it's a great option to have a sober friend or someone who's just like looking out for everybody, who's like has a clear mind, whether that's you or your friends, who is going to be able to like assist in these situations. But it's just a lot of things to think about. And again, that is not for everyone, but I just wanted to mention that because I've been there myself, and I feel like that can be like a really anxiety driven thing for a lot of people. So you just want to be careful with that. And then lastly, how to stay present and how to get out of your head. So I'm not like the best at grounding techniques. I've like learned just tricks of the trade that have helped me personally, but I'm not an expert in any of these things. But some things that have helped me, setting reminders on your phone can be a really big thing. So if you guys like literally want to set them and time them to go off to like help with your anxiety, to send you positive affirmations or like a really nice message, I think that's an amazing thing to do. So don't forget to like set reminders at the beginning of the festival and they like come to you later. Keeping a note on your notepad can be really great. So if you have feelings coming up, like just take out your notepad and just start writing down how you're feeling, sending it. Even if you have a friend who maybe is not at the festival, like let them know beforehand, hey, like if I'm not feeling great, I'm going to reach out to you. And, if you're awake, I would love to hear back from you. So any kind of like support that you can lean on there. And then I wrote down candy reminders, like I brought up before. It's kind of like amazing how a piece of candy can like make you feel better in the moment, or even getting traded something that just like hits you right in the soul and it was like the message you needed to get that night can be amazing. So it's amazing to make that candy to give to people because you just don't know. You could be like saving a life by giving that candy to someone, or a card. Like my friend Lexi made these like really beautiful cards with like the most amazing quotes. I think it said "You matter" or like "The world is better with you in it." It said something like that. And she gave that to somebody and they literally almost cried. And they were like, you have no idea how badly I needed to hear this. Like you can make that experience for someone. So whether you're receiving that or giving that, it's just a beautiful reminder. And like the gifting culture that we have in the rave scene is amazing. So having candy reminders. Somebody gave me a candy once. It was double layered and it said I think it said like fuck anxiety, just breathe, or something like that. It said just breathe for sure. And I was like, oh my God, took a deep breath, reminded me to like breathe. So we love that. And like I mentioned earlier, the fuck anxiety totem was like exactly what I needed to see at one point. Let's like pop up in a really busy crowd. So totems, signs, phone reminders, all of the above are amazing things to have. Last thing I want to mention before we dive into your stories, helping your friends or other ravers that you see dealing with nerves and anxiety. You can, like I mentioned, other than just like the candy or the totems, be that person for other people. Like if you are okay, but you see somebody else struggling, like that is the beautiful part of this community, is like helping others in those moments. Just like small examples. I remember I was at EDC Orlando in 2022 and I went to go to the bathroom and I got on the line for the porta potty and I noticed there was a guy in front of me who just like looked like he was rolling. He just clearly was going through it. I could just tell was nervous, like was swaying a lot, kind of like fidgeting, like looked like they were in their fucking head and they needed to get that energy out. And I was like, I need to talk to them. So I just started talking to them. I was like, hey, is this your first EDC? Started chatting. I offered them gum. They took my gum and we just started talking. And I could like, when you can sense someone's like relief, I could just tell that like the interaction was like helping them kind of just like chill and get out of their head. And it was just a nice thing, went off on their way. But yeah, I just kind of was like, I think this person like needs this in this moment, whether it's gum, something, anything. So doing that for somebody can be really, really beneficial for them. Like I mentioned, whether it's you or another person, offering to take them out of the crowd or like help them navigate. So if you see somebody struggling or something, you can say, hey, do you want to like go sit down for a second? And if they say like yes, like you can go move them to the side and help them, catch their breath, talk them through things. Like that can be a really, really helpful thing for people. Ask them where they're from. Like any questions that will just distract them can be really, really amazing. And it's a super generous thing to do with your time. So that you could see somebody sitting on the ground who looks like they're struggling, sit down next to them, ask them if they're okay. Do they need water? Is there anything you can get to like make their experience better? Just keep your eye out, be aware of things that are happening around you, speak to them calmly, approach them calmly. Giving them positive reminders and affirmations can be good. If they're like looking for their friends, or if there's something that triggered them, maybe they got lost, maybe their phone died, like whatever it is, like see if there's any way you can assist them in that moment. And then another thing you could offer to walk them to the Oasis or to a medical tent as well, because a lot of times people don't even know those things exist. So even if it's something like you can't necessarily help with, like I was in a situation at Ultra Miami where I had somebody who was like heavily under the influence and was like really, really, really not doing well. And I offered to walk them to the medical tent and sat them down at the medical tent. And then somebody took over there because I was working. So just knowing they're in better hands is the best thing that you can do for people as well. So that's just something I wanted to mention as well. Alrighty, fam. Before we dive into your stories, I wanted to share a quick message from one of our partners, Lunchbox. You guys know they make my favorite anti-theft bags. Whether you guys are going to a festival and you need a hydration pack, or you're going to a local show and you need a fanny pack, their snack and sling packs are absolutely incredible. I use them when I travel as well because they're great. They're smaller. One of them, the sling pack, has a water bottle holder, and they're anti-theft. They have zipper clips, so they're amazing for traveling as well. But I wanted to highlight their hydration packs because now through January 31st, they are discounted. So they went from $129 to $109, and you can also use my code CAPOTES. It's my last name, KAPOTES. That will get you $15 off orders $109 or more. So spend $109, get $15 off with code CAPOTES. Highly recommend the hydration packs. They have lasted me for literally years. They have a black pack, which is great, goes with everything. They have a white pack, which is absolutely beautiful. I love the white pack. And they have a clear backpack as well now, which is amazing. If you guys want to get through security super quick and easy, or you have a lot of shows or venues locally that have clear bag guidelines, the clear hydration pack is a great way to go. They also have a clear snack pack as well. So everything you can imagine under the sun, definitely take advantage of deals. It's a great holiday gift as well if you guys want for yourself or for a friend. So don't forget code CAPOTES when you are checking out at Lunchbox. All right, with all that being said, let's get into your submissions. So I asked you guys, how do you deal with festival anxiety? How do you deal with nerves before a show? Like, what is it that makes it better for you? And you sent in some really awesome submissions that I'm going to read here. So I'm just going to take a sip of Olipop. This is so good, by the way. I'm not a big soda drinker, but somebody mentioned this and I was like, I'm going to try it. This is strawberry vanilla. Just shouting that out because that was good. Anyway, okay, this one is from Tara. It says, I deal with a decent amount of anxiety in my day-to-day, so pre-festivals, I like to make sure my vitamin and sleep regimen is top-notch and consistent at least 2 weeks before the event. I do yoga or workouts regularly, eat well-balanced meals, and use essential oils for aromatherapy to raise my vibrations and ground my energy. If I get anxiety at an event, I make sure to separate myself from the crowds and have water. If I'm having a hard time catching my breath or calming my anxiety, I listen and find a beat and count that beat every time it comes around so it focuses my breathing and distracts me from my anxiety. I always separate with a friend / my husband and never alone. Love that. Great tips. That's a great tip about counting the different beats. I never thought about that before. Sorry, I'm burping. I'm leaving all this in. Okay. What does this one say? This person, this was short and sweet, said, I suffer from this, meaning anxiety, heavy, but a trick I do is I will go back and watch videos from my camera roll from other festivals that I've been to, and it always reminds me that I worry before and I always have the best time. Super short and sweet. That's a great reminder. Yeah, go back, look at your photos. You've done it before. You can do it again. You're going to have a great time at the end of the day. Next submission. Hi there, here's my submission. Beyond rave jitters, some ravers have debilitating anxiety that makes going to events very difficult. Personally, I am autistic, and as a neurodivergent, ravers can agree that while we love everything about raves, sometimes they can be overstimulating and can possibly cause meltdowns. After many years of raving, I have advice for any neurodivergent and anxiety disordered raver pals. Number 1, make sure your needs are met. Are your clothes comfortable? Is your water full? Are you hungry? Do you need to sit? Listen to your body. Number 2, find out if the event has a quiet area. It may be called a decompression zone, a safe space, sanctuary, but many festivals implement this. If you feel anxious, definitely take advantage of this. Number 3, if you're feeling uncomfortable where you are, change your environment. Even a quick break outside can turn things around. Number 4, keep your hands busy. If you're anxious on the dance floor, keep your hands busy can feel very soothing. I use Rave Jewelry, chewable candy, and it's changed the game. They also have those like little pop things that you can pop out. Somebody gave them to me at a festival, and I thought it was such a great gift. They make mini ones, and they turned them into keychains. It's like the little pop-it things. I forgot what those are called, but love that. Those help with anxiety as well. And number 5, know when it's time to turn in for the night. There is no shame in knowing if you're just not feeling well to have a good time. There's no shame in choosing to stay home for the night. Listen to your body's needs always. Absolutely love that. Amazing tips. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And those are great points just in the beginning, like kind of going through a checklist, like what would make me feel better in this moment? Do I need to go to the bathroom? Do I need to go just like sit and eat something right now? Do I need to get out of this crowd? Is this set not the vibe for me right now? I've been at sets where like super low frequency music, not for me, needed to get the fuck out of there. Like literally think about exactly what this person said. Like, do I need to stretch? Do I need to be in a different group of people right now? Are these people making me uncomfortable? Like these are all questions to ask yourself, but kind of like go down the checklist. Did I have water? Did I use the bathroom? Did I eat? Have I stretched? Have I sat down? Set and setting is a huge thing. Okay, next submission. Hey, Emma. First off, I love the podcast. I discovered your channel in 2019 and have been a loyal subscriber ever since. It's been amazing to watch you grow, and I hope to see more growth in the future. Thank you so much. Okay, typically before I go to any large events, I get the jitters to the point where I get very cold no matter the temperature and literally shake in anticipation. Not necessarily bad anxiety, but I get really excited to see what the event has in store for me. Sometimes it gets so intense that I get really quiet, forget to take in my surroundings, and really enjoy what's happening in the moment pre-event. This piece of advice has been reiterated many times in the podcast, but I think it's super important to mention again. Take note of what is around you, the mood of the crowd, the nearest exit, employees and workers around to help. Figuring out where you can get medical assistance if needed is extremely helpful and valuable in order to feel safe and to ensure safety. I also find that interacting with my surroundings, whether it's talking to people around me / I am attending the event with, noticing where certain smells and sounds are coming from, even foods or snacks, helps keep me level and not feeling as though I'm experiencing an event in a third person rather than in my own body. This also really helps me with being able to remember the event once it's all over. Thanks for using your platform to help people feel more comfortable with going out and experiencing things, even outside of festivals. Your work has had a great impact on people, and I hope to see much more in the future. Thank you so much. This is from Janaea. Thank you for the kind words. I very much appreciate that, and I think all those tips are amazing. Okay, this next one's from Jen. It says, long-time listener, first-time caller, or whatever the saying is. First time writing in. I love it. Love the podcast and everything you do for the Rave community. I used to deal with some anxiety before events that would usually arise at the day of the event. In the past, I would allow these feelings to take over and continue to ruminate on negative thoughts, ultimately killing the vibe for my partner. I knew I had to turn around my thought pattern once my emotions began negatively affecting others. Now I set intentions before going to a festival or concert. I position myself to understand what I look to get out of and put out into these events. Positive energy, an open mind, and freedom of creativity. I interpret the anxious butterflies in my stomach feeling as being excited. Yes. Turning bodily cues into positive premonitions of what's to come has helped me keep a clearer mind as I enter a festival. Overall, I continue to keep in mind that I am entering a safe space where I am free to be myself. Being intentional about my expectations of an event has helped keep negative thoughts and festival jitters at bay. Excited to hear everyone's experiences. I seriously want you guys to tell me, like, genuinely try this and the next time you get nervous. I'm not even kidding. It sounds stupid, but it has helped me. The next time you get nervous, in your brain, tell yourself, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. Just making that switch, and then come back and comment on this episode and let me know if that actually helped you, because it literally has helped my brain in the past. Okay. This one says, love that you're doing an episode on this topic. It took me a long time to find my groove and really truly enjoy festivals, so I hope this helps someone. I have really awful crowd anxiety to the point where after my first fest, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to keep raving. A lot of it for me is mental. Before I go to an event, I tell myself mentally, it will be crowded, you will get shoved, but you're going to be okay. It helps me set the expectation in my brain instead of going into it somehow hoping to avoid these things. Well, at the event, I remind myself anytime I'm standing near people who are bothering me that the crowd changes rapidly. On pretty much any instance, I won't be near the same people for more than 5 minutes. If it doesn't change, I remove myself. Sunglasses and a pashmina over the head can help a ton to reduce overstimulation and block out peripherals too. Also, just find the right spot. It may take some walking around, but even at main stages at EDCO this past weekend, the entire left side was spaced out, calm, great vibes. And there's almost always a section like that at any stage or fest where you get some reprieve. If you're someone who needs to sit for physical reasons or overstimulation, bring light up objects to put around you. Great point. So others can see you. Sitting for brief periods can really help me reset in moments of overwhelm, but it can make things worse if people are tripping on me. Have a totem or lights or both so others see you. That's a great point. I've seen people do this a lot. And I think it's awesome. They'll take like little glow stick bracelets and they'll like make a square around their friend group, and you do noticeably see it. I've stepped through them before, but for the most part, you see that perimeter or parameter and you're like, okay, this is like somebody's safe space. So it's a great thing to do. So yeah, if you deal with anxiety or nerves and you need to go just like camp out and chill, I don't recommend doing it near the stage, but if you go on like the outskirts of it, make yourself like a little safe space or like a little circle or square out of glow sticks. It can be awesome. And I want to show you guys what they're talking about, the sunglasses and pashmina, because if you're not like visually putting two and two together, I'm going to go get my stuff. Hold on. We need to try this out. So if you're not watching the video, start watching the video. The colors are not going to match here at all, but okay, you guys are going to know. This is how we're ending the episode, by the way. This is the literally the last thing that anyone wrote in. Okay, so this is going to be, the name is like completely slipping my mind now, but anyway, this is a way to create a safe space, and I feel like this is the universal language of ravers. If you see someone who looks like this or who is doing this, you know not to talk to them. Don't interact with them. They're in their own world. They're vibing. You don't just have to be like going through anxiety or like overstimulation to do this. This is like the universal rave symbol for like, don't interact with me right now. I'm vibing out. You know what I mean? So what you're going to do, you're going to take your pashmina. So you do need a couple things for this. Pashmina is an amazing accessory anyway, but it'll obviously help with, keeping you protected from the elements and all things like that, but also putting you in your safe space. So you're going to take your pashmina and you're going to put it over your head, however, far out as you want. If you want it to like fully cover the sides of your face, so it covers your eyes, even better, because then you can't see anything out of your peripherals. Okay, step 2, a bucket hat. We need a bucket hat. I'm going to take my Project Glow bucket hat. This is like reversible, so we'll use this side. A bucket hat goes over the pashmina, okay? Now we're locked in. Now we're in the zone. Okay, so now we've got the protection from the top, we've got the protection from the sides. The last step, this is the don't talk to me step, sunglasses. Okay, now who am I? We don't know her. She doesn't have a name anymore. She's fully in the zone. She's in her safe space. She's vibing to the music. She doesn't want to be bothered. Okay, that's the vibe that this is evoking. Do you know what I mean? So we've got pashmina. You can throw it around your arms if you want. We can protect the whole body. This is our safe space. Okay. I can't imagine how ridiculous this looks. But like, if you're you at a festival. If you're next to me and I'm looking like this, I'm in my own world. I'm not here anymore. I'm camouflaged. No one can see me. My sunglasses are blocking it out. I'm vibing. You know what I mean? So anyways, I think I'm going to wrap up the episode here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 2 of season 6. It has been a pleasure working on this episode. But for real, I really, really wanted to do this one because I think it would be super helpful for you guys. And again, like, this is a very serious topic as well. Like if any of you guys seriously deal with a lot of anxiety, or if you are on the spectrum, if you can't handle certain levels of stimulation, like if things get overwhelming to you, I hope that these tips and advice are things that you can, keep in your mind and think about at your next festival or your next rave, and they, improve your experience, or they help you get out of a situation, or they ground you, whatever it might be. But there are always ways to make, yourself feel better, and there's resources to help you. So please, please, please let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I would love to get your feedback on it. Again, resources, links, brand partners, codes, all of that will be linked down below, along with our socials. So connect with us at Rave Culture Cast on all the platforms. And really quickly, I wanted to mention our Best of EDM episode is coming out at the end of the year. This is where we go through the top artists, tracks, collaborations, albums of the year. I share my favorites, and then I also read what you guys vote on. So voting is now open, and I will leave a link for that down below so you guys can submit your votes for that. Other than that, thank you so much for being here and listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.